Most of you know that I've been pretty skeptical of Black Ops 7 during the hype campaign. The community keeps talking about all the Black Ops 2 nostalgia and the removal of skill-based matchmaking, but I've been telling myself and all of you, just be careful about what's going on, because I honestly don't believe that it's going to be as good as we're all expecting. I think the community is really desperate for things like SBMM and disbanding lobbies to go away. I do, me too. They're starting to hear what they want to hear instead of what Treyarch may actually be saying. And just the other day, we got another taste of that. I mean, I'm sorry guys, but this is another bad news Black Ops 7 video, because if you're looking forward to a year of old school Call of Duty, you may be in for disappointment over the next couple months. Now, don't shoot the messenger, and no, this is not AI Jimmy. And to the guy that left the comment on the last video, we know that you're upset and it lives in your head rent-free that one guy commented that you're AI and you do AI for your videos, and now you mention it almost every video. My friend, I'm not upset. It's called leaning in. I want you to look that up. Leaning in. Let's have some fun. So, a blog post was put up on the COB website the other day where Treyarch was going over some of the launch features that we can expect from Black Ops 7. And they, of course, were hyping up things like open matchmaking, persistent lobbies. I mean, those are two of the things that people are the most excited for, myself included. And I want to say this, when I'm being critical of Call of Duty or a specific thing about Call of Duty, also understand that I will give the positives if they're there as well. I want this to be a great game. I want Call of Duty to thrive. So keep that in mind. But the wording of these sections, it was very interesting, and I'm going to break it down for you, and it was very specific in a way that did not make me feel confident in how it was actually going to play out on launch day. So the blog post pretty specifically refers to open matchmaking as a playlist feature as opposed to being the default matchmaking system. Let me repeat that for you guys in the back so you hear me really well. Treyarch referred to open matchmaking as being something limited to certain playlists and not as the default matchmaking system. You know what that means? That means they could just disable that playlist whenever they want. That means that after all the hype surrounding open matchmaking in Black Ops 7, Treyarch is now making it clear that open matchmaking is not going to be as central of a feature as people thought it was going to be. It's going to be part of certain playlists, and we all know how much the COD developers like to add and remove playlists. The word context is the most important part here. I forgot to introduce myself. Welcome to the channel, everybody. Jimmy, or non-AI Jimmy, to the guy. Welcome to the channel. Yeah, make sure you guys like and subscribe. And remember, I read every single comment on every single video, even if it's the random Kino is the best Black Ops 1 map of all time. Another interesting thing about the blog post is the fact that it referred to persistent lobbies as being something that players, well, it keeps players together more often. I'm doing the air quotes for you guys. More often. That's yet another thing that is apparently not going to be default as a feature in Black Ops 7 on launch day. I mean, if persistent lobbies were the way the multiplayer worked across the board, why in the world would Treyarch have to specify that it was going to keep players together more often instead of just saying you stay together? Saying more often implies that it's not going to always happen. It also leaves the back door wide open, which means the persistence lobbies are likely going to be limited to the playlist that are using open matchmaking. Is all of this starting to make sense? Is it coming together? And since open matchmaking is not going to be the default system, I think you can see what's happening here. Treyarch, or Activision, doesn't want to use open matchmaking across the board in Black Ops 7 because they still need to protect little Timmy from the people who are better at the game, you guys. Which means they need to make sure the skill-based matchmaking is still in the game. And you can't have persistent lobbies while you use the current SBMM system. You guys know what that means? That means that all the Timmies are going to be in the SBMM playlist while everyone else is in the open matchmaking playlist, which means the open matchmaking playlist are very possibly going to be COD sweat fests. I mean, it won't be as sweaty as the standard COD matchmaking that's been there over the last few years, but without all the lower level players in the mix, open matchmaking isn't going to feel like classic COD matchmaking. It's actually the opposite, which is kind of crazy. That's how it ends up. Open matchmaking could end up feeling like a more strict and more ramped up SBMM playlist than the actual SBMM playlist. Yeah, think about that for a second. I mean, that's assuming Treyarch even opens or keeps the open matchmaking playlist in the game, which I personally think we all know they're probably not going to because they're already laying the groundwork in these blog posts. So that brings me to the bigger problem with Black Ops 7. You're like, dang, Jimmy, that seemed like a big enough problem that you were griping about. No, my friend. No. I have never seen a Call of Duty launch week this quiet. I want you guys to think about it. When's the last time a Call of Duty was less than a week away from launching and there was this little amount of buzz? Yes, you have your creators and your influencers out there. They're posting their stuff. We've seen the clips about Avalon and Endgame. Charlie Intel's churning out all the stuff where we can see the new intros and the guns and the prestige emblems and all that normal stuff. I get that, right? But beyond that, there's not a lot. I mean, I don't know. You guys, what do you think? Do you think we're there? I mean, we're less than a week away. Black Ops 7 is being billed as a big return to form and a big we're sorry for messing up the franchise and a big we're fixing everything you didn't like about COD, and yet nobody seems to care about it. Now, that's not to say I think the game is going to flop or anything like that, because obviously the game is going to sell millions of copies. It always does, regardless of quality. I mean, COD Vanguard also had very little hype leading up to launch. Still managed to sell over 30 million copies. Then again, that game came out when lockdown culture was still going strong, so I don't think that's actually a fair comparison. So the point I'm trying to get at is Black Ops 7 is coming out long after lockdown culture has ended, so if the game does suck, Activision is going to suffer from it. And on top of that, it's coming out with some pretty stiff competition in the market. Now, obviously, there's Battlefield 6. That's probably the closest thing COD has to a direct competitor. But on top of BF6, there's games like Arc Raiders, which is surging. There's, of course, still Marvel Rivals. And now we have all the hype about what's going to be happening with Halo in the future. There's a lot of things. And I know every time I do one of these, people say, don't forget Escape from Tarkov 1.0. Okay, Escape from Tarkov 1.0. Now, these aren't direct competitors Call of Duty because obviously they fall under different subgenres of multiplayer shooters, but they're still going to be taking players away from potentially choosing Black Ops 7 as their go-to multiplayer shooter, because what do we talk about? Developers and publishers, they're fighting for your precious time. You can only play one game at a time. Now, in case you thought I was being too harsh about Black Ops 7, not just being people's main multiplayer game, and in case you thought I was being too dramatic about this game, not having any actual hype outside of the diehard Call of Duty fans, I want to point you with my big finger towards a recent announcement that I think highlights my point. GameStop announced they're actually going to be doing a midnight release event for Black Ops 7. Just like they used to do with every major game release. If you were ever part of an authentic OG Call of Duty midnight release at a GameStop or a Best Buy or a Walmart, you and me are the same. Now, some of you probably never have actually experienced this. But during the Xbox 360 era, in the first few years of the PS4 era, every new Call of Duty release would get a special midnight event at GameStop, as well as other retailers. It was a big deal. It was a huge deal. There would be a line outside the building, around the building, wrapped around the building, the store, so people could get the disc as soon as humanly possible. Take it home, pop it in your console, get online, and you start creating memories, right? Now, it's been a few years since the last Midnight COD release, because in the digital age, people don't care about the physical releases. GameStop, they announced the other day that certain locations around the country are going to do an old school midnight release for Black Ops 7. And the internet's reaction was, are you ready for this? Why? I know, it's sad. It's sad for me too. We live in an era where if you want the game as soon as humanly possible, you download it on your PS5 or your Xbox or Battle.net or Steam, and then you go put your time to New Zealand and you play it early, right? And if you want the game physically, you were probably already planning on pre-ordering it and getting it on launch day a few hours in. Basically, sadly, we live in an era where nobody wants the game as soon as possible. They don't think about buying the physical copy. And I have a gut feeling, I hate to say this, I think these midnight release events for Black Ops 7 are going to end up being pretty empty. I know GameStop has this vision in their head, and they want to market it and put it out on TikTok with these long lines of people. I mean, there'll be people there for the nostalgia. They're not really there for the physical copy. They're not there to get it on midnight and get it before anybody else, because that's not the best way to do that anymore. I mean, one thing to wait till midnight, or the release of midnight of a major game like GTA 6 or Red Dead 3. Now, I could see those going nuts. You would want to say you were there, right? GTA 6 is a one in a decade or more game. Red Dead 3 would be a one in a decade more of a game. We get a Call of Duty game every year. It's not like, oh yeah, I was at Black Ops 7 midnight GameStop release. That doesn't really pull the same weight as, yeah, I was in line for 24 hours to get one of the first physical copies ever of GTA 6. That is a different bragging right. Those games are 100% going to have midnight releases for physical copies as well. Those make sense because those are hotly anticipated games where people are going to want their big fancy physical collector's editions as soon as they can get their hands on them. Black Ops 7? Nobody's waiting around in the cold until midnight for a Black Ops 7 disc when they can just download it from the comfort of their own home while they're sitting there eating dinner. I mean, also, what's the point of a midnight release for a game disc? That game disc is going to require you to download something that's 50 gig of updates when you put it in your console. That's even saying that you have a console that has a disk drive. Why not just buy the thing digitally at that point? Frankly, I mean, I think the lack of hype for these BO7 midnight releases events probably proves what I've been saying for the entire video. The hype, it's not there for this game. Regardless of the game, no matter how much Activision or Treyarch try to lean into nostalgia, they're leaning on nostalgia for guns and maps, and now they're leaning on nostalgia with the midnight release events, and I don't think people care like that anymore. And I do want to close this with, I do want Black Ops 7 to be good. I think it has the potential to be good. I really do. But, I mean, we're at the crossroads of Call of Duty. We're at the crossroads every single year. And all of us are like, you know what? We'll sit here with the glass half empty as opposed to half full because we've been disappointed so many times in the past. And that's where I'm at. Am I downloading it right now? Absolutely. Am I going to go play it? Am I going to dive in it and look for that enjoyment? Absolutely. Am I going to create a lobby of these non-disbanding lobbies with maybe some of you guys? If you guys follow me on X, I don't know, somewhere where I could get together and maybe try to relive the Black Ops 2 days with buddies and we get a lobby together. Yeah, I'm going to try all of these things. I truly, truly am. But at the end of the day, I'm keeping my expectations super low because if they're super low, then I'm not going to be disappointed if it ends up being what it possibly could be. That doesn't even get me started on Modern Warfare 4. All right, guys, let me know what you think. I'll see you soon.